My child, there is something you need to know, something that has been concealed from your understanding for years, something the enemy worked tirelessly to keep hidden, because he knew the moment you discovered it, everything would change. He has used every distraction, every lie, every false narrative to keep this truth buried. But his time is up. Today, right now in this moment, I am tearing down the veil. I am exposing what has been hidden. And what I am about to show you is going to shatter the limitations you have been living under. You have been walking through life with a limp you thought was permanent. You accepted it. You adapted to it. You built your entire identity around this limitation, never questioning whether it was supposed to be there in the first place. And all the while, the enemy stood in the shadows, whispering, "This is just who you are. This is your portion. This is as good as it gets." He convinced you that the struggle was your fault, that the lack was your destiny, that the patterns were unbreakable. And you believed him because you did not know any better. But I am about to show you something that has been true all along, something that existed before the enemy ever whispered his first lie into your life. You have had access to power you never used. You have carried authority you never recognized. You have possessed inheritance you never claimed. Not because I was withholding it, but because the enemy successfully kept you blind to it. He hid the truth in plain sight. Right there, my word. But he twisted your understanding just enough that you read it without seeing it, heard it without receiving it. Here is what he hid from you. You are not the person you think you are. The identity you've been carrying, the one that feels so familiar, so fixed, so unchangeable. It is not your real identity. It is a counterfeit, a shadow, a distorted reflection that the enemy projected onto you so successfully that you started to believe it was you. He told you that you were weak, so you stopped trying to be strong. He told you that you were disqualified, so you stopped reaching for what I had already given you. He told you that you were ordinary, so you never stepped into the extraordinary calling I placed on your life. But today I am showing you who you actually are. You are not weak. You are empowered by the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead. You are not disqualified. You were chosen before the foundation of the world. You are not ordinary. You carry my image, my breath, my purpose, my authority. The enemy hid this from you because a person who knows who they are in me is the most dangerous threat to his kingdom. So he worked for years to keep you confused, insecure, second-guessing yourself. He knew that if you ever truly understood your identity, you would start operating in a dimension of faith and power that would dismantle every stronghold he built in your life. And here's what else he hid. That thing you've been struggling with for years, that battle you thought you would fight until the day you died, it was already defeated. The enemy made you think you had to earn victory, had to work for breakthrough, had to somehow become strong enough or spiritual enough to overcome. But the truth is, the victory was already won, not by your effort, by my finished work. The cross was not just about forgiveness. It was about freedom, total freedom. Freedom from sin, from shame, from fear, from bondage, from every curse, from every demonic assignment. All of it was broken at Calvary. But the enemy hid that truth from you by keeping you focused on the fight instead of the finished work. He kept you striving, struggling, trying to win a battle that was already over. And because you did not know it was finished, you kept living like it was still in question. You kept begging me for victory I had already given you. You kept asking me to break chains I had already shattered. You kept living in poverty when I had already made you rich. Not in some future moment when you finally get it right. Right now, it is already done. The enemy also hid this from you. Your past does not define you. He spent years building a case against you using your own history as evidence. Every mistake, every failure, every moment of weakness, he cataloged them, archived them, and played them on repeat in your mind until you started to believe that your past was a permanent stain, a disqualification that could never be removed. He convinced you that you were damaged goods, that no one would want you, that I could not fully use you because of where you had been and what you had done. But that was a lie, a calculated, deliberate lie designed to keep you trapped in shame and small in your thinking. The truth is this: the moment you came to me, your past was erased, not minimized, not overlooked, erased. As far as the east is from the west, that is how far I removed your transgressions from you. I do not see you through the lens of your history. I see you through the lens of my Son. And in him you are blameless, spotless, brand new. The enemy hid this from you, because if you ever walked in the freedom of knowing you are completely clean, you would stop disqualifying yourself from the very things I was calling you into. There is more. The enemy hid from you the power of your words. He made you think that words were just sounds, just expressions of emotion, just ways to communicate. But words are creative force. They carry weight in the spiritual realm. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. When you speak my word in faith, things shift, demons flee, circumstances change, doors open, bodies heal, finances turn around, not because of magic, because of agreement with what I have already declared. But the enemy kept you speaking defeat. He trained you to use your mouth as a weapon against yourself. You declared lack over your finances. You prophesied failure over your future. You agreed with sickness in your body. You spoke limitation over your children. And because you did not know the power you carried in your words, you partnered with the enemy's plan instead of with mine. He hid this truth because a believer who understands the authority of their words becomes unstoppable. Let me show you what else was hidden. You've been fighting battles that were never yours to fight. The enemy distracted you with warfare that was designed to exhaust you, to keep you so busy swinging at shadows that you never stepped into your real assignment. He made you think you had to fix everyone, save everyone, carry everyone. He put weights on your shoulders that I never assigned, and you have been buckling under burdens I never told you to pick up. But here is the truth. The battle is mine. Your job is not to figure everything out, not to control every outcome, not to rescue every person. Your job is to obey what I tell you, to walk where I lead you, to rest in the fact that I am fighting for you. The enemy hid this because an exhausted believer is an ineffective believer. But a believer who knows how to rest in my strength, who knows which battles are theirs and which are mine, that believer walks in peace and power simultaneously. And one more thing the enemy worked desperately to hide from you. You were never meant to do this alone. He isolated you. He convinced you that no one would understand, that you could not trust anyone, that you were better off keeping people at a distance. He used past betrayals to build walls around your heart. He weaponized your wounds to make you suspicious of connection. And slowly, subtly, he cut you off from the very relationships I designed to strengthen you, encourage you, sharpen you. But isolation is a trap. I never intended for you to walk this journey solo. I created you for community, for covenant relationships, for deep connection with others who carry my heart. The enemy hid this because he knows that an isolated believer is vulnerable, but a connected believer surrounded by the right people is fortified. So, what do you do now that the truth is being revealed? You take it. You do not just acknowledge it. You act on it. You start speaking differently. You start seeing yourself differently. You start operating in the authority that was always yours. You stop begging for what was already given. You stop fighting battles that were already won. You stop carrying shame from a past that was already erased. You stop isolating when you were made for connection. The enemy hid this from you for years, but today the concealment ends. Today you see. And once you see, you cannot unsee. Walk forward in this truth. Let it rewrite every lie you believed. Let it dismantle every limitation you accepted. Let it unlock every door the enemy convinced you was sealed. This is your moment. This is your revelation. And nothing will ever be the same. Type amen if you receive this revelation, and share this with someone who needs to see what the enemy has been hiding.